Guys, I'm back with another video. Today we are doing a 2007 Ford Edge rear wheel bearing. We're about to replace this rear wheel bearing. I'm going to loosen up the lug nuts, get the car up in the air, support it, get the wheel off. Okay, I got the wheel off. It was a 19 millimeter to take the wheel off. I'm going to take the caliper and the bracket off. The caliper. It's a 14 millimeter. I'm just going to loosen up this bottom one back here, swing it up, get the brakes out, and then for the caliper bracket, this bolt here, 15 millimeter. So I'm going to get those all loosened and taken out. Take the C-clamp, push this in, and I'm going to loosen this 14 millimeter. Okay, change of plans. I'm just going to press the C-clamp in on the caliper because 14 millimeter in a 3/8 drive is hitting the back of this guard. I can't get it in there, so I tried a 14 long, and that's hitting. It's barely enough for me to get this in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use my 1/2-inch socket with the 15 millimeter, get that caliper bracket bolt out, and if you see this hole right here, I'm gonna put a socket through the hole. Actually, yeah, put the socket through the hole. Where are we? And that should give me enough room to get behind here to get this whole bracket off. So I'm not even going to remove this bolt or that bolt. Normally I will remove this, swing it up, get the brakes out, but I'm going to keep the caliper on the bracket and just remove the whole bracket with the brakes assembly still on it, and this whole thing going to come off. So let me get this off with the 15 millimeter. Okay, so we're going to change the plans again. As you see, I got my socket with the extension on it, but I can't get my ratchet in between the socket, the spring, not even my breaker bar. So I took off the extension. I can't do this shit. Oh, there it is. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do it one hand. I took off the extension to put just the socket on, and it wasn't deep enough for me to get a socket on. So now what I'm going to do, I am going to have to take the caliper off, but I got to use a 14 millimeter wrench. So that's what we're going to do. 14 millimeter wrench to get these caliper bolts off. This shit is a nightmare already. This is what happens when you work on a fucking Ford. So I got these loose. Put my 14 millimeter wrench on there. They broke loose. And caliper is off. So now I'm going to work on coming behind here and getting the caliper bracket bolts out. I should have easy access now that the caliper is out of the way. So let me get those off with a 15 millimeter. So what I did, it actually worked. I had to use my 3/8 socket and 3/8 breaker bar and tap on the end with a hammer. They broke loose. So now, since they both broke loose, I should be able to use my 3/8 ratchet to finish this shit off. And then we got another one. Shit, it's loose, but this bitch is still tight. So let me get these two bolts off so I can get this whole caliper bracket off. Got the caliper bracket off. Now I gotta get the rotor off. Stuck on there. So now we gotta hit this bitch with the fucking hammer. Here we go with all this banging. That was easy. So we got the rotor off. Now, gotta get to the back. Can I show you? I cannot, but I'm gonna show you when I get it off. Okay, if you follow this black line here, you look in between this hole. This is the ABS sensor. It's a small, right there. You gotta do it blind, meaning you ain't gonna be able to see it. But it's an 8mm socket, and you gotta feel for it to get this sensor out. And just wiggle it. Shit. This bitch should come out. Come on, bitch. Notice I'm grabbing the plastic and not the wire. Sometimes it gets stuck in there. There we go. I got it. And that's what it looked like. So now, on the back, I don't know if you can see that little stud sticking out there. 1, 2, and you got in there, which is 3. Other side at the bottom, 4. You're gonna need a T60. I thought there was a socket. I'm like, well, I can't get it on. It's a T60. So now we gotta find a way to get these broke loose. You got 4 T60s to get loose, so let me get them out. Okay, this bitch is becoming a nightmare. I gotta take this whole spindle off. We got a 18mm bolt there. I already took out this top one, 18mm. It actually go through this way. And then that shock bolt, all 18mm. Then I gotta take out this one 10mm here. I think, yep, 10mm for this caliper line. So let me get all of them bolts out. Okay, I got all of them broke loose. I had to take that bolt out. I took that bolt out. That bolt I loosened because if I had taken it out, this fucking spring would have popped out. But I did take the shock out, and I had to go with this setup. T60 extension. Come to the back with a breaker bar. They all crack loose. But obviously I sprayed them down with some PB Blaster before I even done it. So I got them all out. So let me get them out with the rest of the way with a ratchet. Okay, I got all 4 bolts out. 1, 2. There's a silver one back there. 3. And somewhere in there it is, 4. They down there on the ground. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put these bolts back in. I ain't gonna lock them down. I'm gonna just put them in. That one, not so much the shock. So that way I can hammer on this without this whole thing wobbling around. Okay, so I only put that one in, and it seemed sturdy enough. So now I just gotta whack the shit out of this bearing until it fall out. Yeah, I gotta break out the torch. And I gotta do some more hammering. And some more spraying. Sorry. Alright, I'm back. So about an hour of banging, I got this damn shit off. So now I can knock this shit through so we can get this bearing out. So I got that plastic center cap out that was in there, and I'm just cleaning up the diameter with the sandpaper. And I still gotta knock that out. I got that soaking in PB Blaster. I probably put the torch back on that again and just hammer it straight out. Okay, I gotta take out these two bolts that's holding on the emergency brake cable so I can just have this whole spindle free in my hand. I got one of them out. 10 millimeters. So I ain't got enough working room with it still being connected up there. Okay. Set that there. Okay, sorry about that. My phone had died. I only got 5% left. I got that bearing out. And that's what it looked like. I had to beat the shit out of it. I broke all the studs off. Don't care. Because we got a good and a new bearing going in. And I got to put the... oh, here it is. The new part on. So let me get that on. Okay, you always line up your old part, your new part. They look pretty much the same. Except the black cap on this one, it's right here on the ground. That shit popped off. So, and this one on the ground is hot as hell because I had the torch on it. So now it can only go in one way. If you see it wide up there and narrow at the bottom, so that's a good thing. But I'm gonna put some anti-seize on that. I already put some around this ring, some anti-seize. I put some around there. Now I'm gonna put some on the bearing. Okay, I gotta try to make this quick. I gotta put this emergency cable back in. It just sits in that hole, and these two bolts go in there. Let me get emergency cable back on. Now we gotta flip this up right, like that, and put the bearing in. So I put anti-seize on these bolts, anti-seize on the bearing, anti-seize on this spindle and this housing. Now I'm gonna line it up and get the bearing in. Remember, the bearing can only go in one way because one side is small and the other side is wide. Now I'm gonna feed these bolts from the back side in and get them tightened up. Sorry about the camera shaking. So I got the bolt started by hand. This is my setup: 1/2-inch ratchet, 1/2-inch extension, and a T60 Torx bit. And I'm gonna just tighten them up. So I got these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, them 4 bolts tight as I can get them. Now I'm gonna put this bolt back in, that bolt back in a shock. Starting with this one. Sorry about my hand. This goes through this way, obviously, because it locks into this nut. So let me get that lined up, and then 18 millimeter. As you see, I done put anti-seize on it. Sorry, the video's shaking. Actually, let me just get this in so the video don't continue shaking, and then we'll go and tackle that one down there. Okay, got that top one in. Now I'm going to put this bottom one in. It goes in this way. As you see, I got anti-seize. It done smudged on the frame. But there's also a locking nut on the back of that side. So let me get that lined up because that's going to take 2 hands also. Okay, we got bolt number 2 in. Got the top one, bottom one. Swing over here. Get this shock up and into that slot. And that bolt, hold on, it's right here. Put some anti-seize on this, and it goes on the back side like this, because this little clip locks onto this little groove here. when you're loosening and untightening, it'll lock there so it doesn't spin. So let me get that on. Okay, sorry again. That phone that I was using died. So this is the last bolt we gotta tighten up. Let me get this tight and get the rotor on. Okay, we got that last bolt in right there. Shock is in. That lower shock mount is in. This trailing arm is in. And that's the trailing arm, sorry. And then this part is in. Oh, before I forget, ABS. This little bitch here. Let's get her put in. That was the 8mm bolt. Let me find that and get that in before I forget. We got the ABS in flush. Now let's get the rotor on. She said she's going to worry about the emergency shoes later. I told her them shits broke out. Them shit's overrated. So I'm going to put the rotor on. We got the rotor on. Let's get this caliper bolt back in where it sits. Sorry, it's a little hard to do with one hand. Actually, let me just sit it the way it would go. Sorry, my hand's all in the way. But this goes in that groove like that, and the bolt hold it in. As you see, the wire is routed the right way. So let me get that bolt in. That's the 10mm. Now we're gonna get this caliper bracket on. I think these are the 14mm, and matter of fact they are, because I had to use the wrench. So let me get some anti-seize on them. This sits like this, goes over the rotor and in between that mounting bracket. So let me get some anti-seize on these two bolts and get the caliper bracket up there. We're almost done. The rotor caliper bracket is up. Tighten it up. It's not a 14, it's a 15. 15 for the caliper bracket, 14 for the caliper. Caliper bracket is up and on. Put the caliper on. Two 14mm, which is the small ones. And I gotta use the wrench. Caliper is on. Only thing left to do is put the wheel on and we are done. This is a, let me see, look at the registration. 2007 Ford Edge rear wheel bearing replacement. If this video is helpful in any way, make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment. Let me know what you think. I'm out.